him or no? There you go. Guns up, giddy up. Another episode of the Failure to Stop podcast coming at you right now, actually live on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Mike the Cop or facebook.com/Real Mike the Cop. And I'm joined by, my gorgeous, smarter, more copy cop than I could have ever been, ever was. Better father, better man, better citizen. I don't know what else good to say about Eric Tansey, official.
Those are all the things.
At least Lois says, howdy, Mike. Hey, Lois. Good to see you. If you wonder, I know if you're just listening to this along in your car somewhere, I'm not just randomly making up Lois out of nowhere. No, Lois is a real fan who's watching live on the Failure to Stop podcast with my radio voice. What's your radio voice, Tansey? Let me hear it.
You've had way too much Cardomax this morning.
Woo!
You're up here, baby.
Dude, the Cardomax stuff legit. They're a sponsor. And so
I am drinking it right now.
But the crazy thing is I haven't had the energy one. I've been having the immune booster, which doesn't have caffeine, I don't think. It's got like different roots and stuff in it, and plants and whatever, but it's freaking awesome. And it does give me energy, and I've been having it every day and I love it. Legit. I legit love it.
A lot of Navy SEALs kind of have like this hippie gene inside of them. It's like a weird hippie warrior kind of gene. Yeah, I know a few of them, and they all have very hippie tendencies. So when Sean Matson, former Navy SEAL, invented Cardomax, and I was reading all I was like, okay, all right, he's got the he's got that hippie gene buried somewhere.
Got that hippie gene
down inside of him. Maybe it's a California gene.
Could be California. They just they voted to stay commie with the Newsom recall, or did they? Or was it stolen out from under their feet with all the mail-in ballots of dead people? The rumors were that 70,000 people showed up to the polls who were already informed that they already had voted. It's like, well, that's impossible. I just showed up. So who knows what's going on? Who threw the poop? Says, hey, Mike, first time catching a live stream. Thanks, man. We got 200 people watching us right now, and hopefully more. Smash that share button and tell people about us. And someone said Sheriff Ivey in Brevard, where you live, is a badass, and heck yes, he is. And we're going to talk about today's topic is sparked off by the recent ambush. What really, Tansey, would you call it a double ambush? Like the situation turned into a double ambush. Weird.
It was a firefight, and
there was a firefight.
I mean, the guy, well, we'll watch the video, we'll watch the breakdown, but I mean, that guy definitely, he knew what he was doing that day. And,
he had a plan. So we'll talk. We're going to talk about the Brevard County ambush that happened. And that will spark off the conversation about some of the things that we even touched upon when Tansey became the most hated man on the podcast the last week.
Yeah.
He is the most hated man on this show. I came out squeaky clean. Tansey's learning what hate. I told you last week. I'm like, bro, like I post stuff every day. Every post that I make on the interwebs, someone is going to say something negative about me, to me, or about what I said. So I just don't barely even pay attention. Like I sleep the same at night, no matter what. But it was cute to watch you get like, wait a second, why do people hate me? Why? What happened?
I just think it's so funny, like how fucking mean people can be, right? Like I've never got on the social webs, and like I see something that I disagree with, and like if I really disagree with it and I'm really bored and I really don't have shit going on, like I'll try to think of something intelligent to say, and I'll say it and I'll articulate it. But I've never just been like, just come right out of the gates, you're a piece of shit. This week, though, here's a funny story.
So easy to do that when you can't get punched in the face back.
Oh man. So this week was a rough week for me. We did the Tailgate Legend show last Saturday live from UNC Chapel Hill, which if you've ever been to Chapel Hill, it's bougie. It's bougie as fuck. And so we just came out of our show on Friday. where I was called a left-wing nut because I thought it was reasonable that a cop should be able to ask you if you have a gun in the car. And today's breakdowns I'll kind of go into it a little bit more on why I feel that way, but it's a reasonable argument as well. But I was called a left-wing nut, which I thought was really funny. And
because you basically said you would separate people from weapons in cars, you know, or whatever.
Yes,
and
it's just something
I said I didn't do that. So we kind of like people took my side versus your side, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, every cop's different. And I don't think any way's bad or what. I hope everything works out for you. I hope you don't die and get shot in the face on your next traffic stop. I'm just kidding. But so Friday, I get called a left-wing nut. Saturday, we're at a tailgates with Drinking Bros Sports. And in the middle of the tailgate, everything's going great. Everybody's having fun, laughing. It's going amazing. This large, overweight woman with a Karen cut, no shit, walks up and she was like, I just researched this whole Drinking Bros thing and I saw that you were on Tucker Carlson. I was like, I was not. My boss was on Tucker Carlson. I was not on Tucker. And she was like,
good old Dan was on Tucker Carlson, not us. We're peons.
Get out of our tailgate. And I was like, what? And she was like, get the fuck out of our tailgate. If you support Tucker Carlson, you're a racist. And we don't want any of you right-wing crazies here.
We are tolerant here. Do you understand that? We are tolerant here, so get out.
I said, ma'am.
Because we're tolerant. Do you understand me?
I said he was wearing a defund politicians shirt the first time, and he was wearing an APEC. Do you know what APEC? She was like, get out of our tailgate. And I was like, so you don't want to have an adult conversation? She goes, get the fuck out of our tailgate, you racist piece of shit. And I was like, whoa, the tolerant left. So in one day, I've got some right-wing dumb redneck with a Civil War fucking goatee.
Conservatard.
Like he's trying to look like Stonewall Jackson.
There's libtards and conservatards, man.
With his selfie in his trailer. And you can always tell it's a trailer because you can see the wood vinyl the wall in the background. It's a dead giveaway that you're in a trailer, which is not a bad. It's not.
I gotta be so judgy, Judge McJudgerson.
I just think I would pick a different place to do my selfie for my Facebook page.
There's a lot of nice double wides out there, man.
Hey, listen, I don't trailer shame, but Jesus, don't make it your profile picture. Have some pride in yourself.
Maybe he likes those walls.
He does, I guess. But so I'm a left-wing nut from him, and then the opposite Karen on the other side, I'm a right-wing racist. So really, I think of what it is just that anybody that's really, really attached to their politician is just a real dumbass on either side.
Yeah. We lost somewhere along the way, lost the idea of principles over politicians.
Diversity of thought, critical thinking. I don't know.
APAC, baby. APAC. Yeah. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in. And if you're driving somewhere or you've got your Raycons in and you're listening to the show, whatever you're doing, thank you. We crossed 1,000 ratings on Apple Podcasts, which as you obviously, if you're listening to this, you know, because you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you're listening, you can listen all over the place. But when it comes to ratings and marketing a show and, exposure to a show, then Apple Podcasts is still sort of like, that's where kind of the business is done. And so you guys have shown up in force. The Wolf Pack has just flooded Apple Podcasts with ratings and reviews. And we always, each and every week, we want to acknowledge you guys and just say thank you so much. If you've been getting merch, like I've got the stab and grab. I was so happy. This is my favorite one so far, is the stab and grab tee at failuretostop.com. So thank you so much to that. Andy, do we have some of these reviews to check out? So we like to highlight some of these. 5 stars from Last Row Lopez says 69 arrests. I've been arrested 69 times for smuggling booze into college football games. Recently, I tell the cheddar baked biscuits that throw the chains on me about this podcast, and they let me go. Anyway, I have no idea what the show is about because I'm a severe alcoholic, but it's gotten me from getting waxed in the clink a few times. So 10 out of 10 recommend. Tansey's also nice to look at, so that's a plus. Yeah, that's how I opened the show. I complimented you on your looks, and that's the reviewer recognizes the same thing. So, hey, you don't have to listen to the show as long as we're helping you stay out of the clink. We're happy. You know, that's what matters. Big Red 1996 says, best podcast ever. I currently work in a maximum security prison as a patrol canine officer where every day is like walking into another world. But now I'm on my way to the police academy and can't be any more excited to start my next path in law enforcement. but this podcast is great. I listen on my way home from work to relax and stay awake. This podcast is like finding two inmates in a cell, high, drunk, and ready to fight. You don't know how it will start or end, but you know it's going to be a good show. Anyhow, I can't wait for more episodes and more times a week. Keep up the good work. And Tansey, when you all do the show together from a ghost bed, protect your dung hole because it seems like Mike has a hard on for you. I mean, that's good advice. Always protect your holes.
Well, you always said that you'd be the giver. So I will protect my bunghole.
You know, a gun to my head. I've got to make a choice. Then that's the route that I'm taking. But let's hope it never comes to that.
Boston Joe says Tansey can thank the cameras for looking good in real life. Well, I'm not sure that's what your mother said last night, Boston Joe.
All right, what's next? 5 stars. Paul Rum says, "This ain't no fake cop TV show. They are the real deal." Mike Lacey and Eric Cagney are female police officers in New York City. The women are partners and friends, but they lead different personal lives. Cagney is a single career-minded woman, while Lacey is a married mother. In addition to going after the bad guys, the ladies have to combat sexism in the male-dominated workplace. Mike the Cop stars as Mary Beth Lacey, and Eric Tansey plays the part of Chris Cagney. That was different, but hey.
Paul has a podcast called Rums and Drums. Drums and Rums. I'm a big rum guy. I'm a big rum nut. So
yeah, you are.
I like listening to his podcast. He interviews a lot of historians and rum manufacturers and producers. And if you're into rum, it's a good podcast. There you go.
Go check it out, you rum nuts. You. Was that it, or we got any more? One more. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Oh, I just spread COVID everywhere. Oh my gosh. Sorry. All right. 5 stars. Number 1,000. This is my attempt to be the 1,000th review. If that happens, I don't think Lightfoot could even get this chubby to go down. You guys rock. Keep it up. Yeah. Good job. I don't know if you were the 1,000th, but let's just say you are. I don't know how to track it. There's no way to know.
We can't respond either.
You know what? And yeah, we can't reply to the comments. So I'll tell you what. You get a free stab and grab t-shirt on me as soon as what's her name gets her shirt from you, Amber.
I can send it out now because
as soon as you send her shirt. I don't know if she's in the comments today. I haven't been paying much attention there, so she's not here. She's just given up now. She never got the shirt you promised, so she's given up. I made her cry. You lied to her about a shirt. It's over. Schwashmitz, whatever your name is, send proof that you sent that review, and I will send you a free stab and grab t-shirt. I'll send you the one I'm wearing right now. It'll have my musk on it. It's going to be beautiful. Eric, tell us about the Hump Day Hero this week, because it was a pretty cool one. I loved the writing on that, by the way. It was a literary masterpiece that you put together.
I had to do it because this guy's living the dream. Officer Becker was living the dream. He was on a routine patrol. And by the way, if you want to read more about this, go to our Facebook and our Instagram. If you ever want to nominate somebody, make it cool, make it interesting. Don't nominate somebody for the same bullshit over and over again.
Yeah, something cool, man. Send us to the DMs.
I only did this one because I know I can make a lot of jokes. Not that it wasn't a heroic deed, but I knew I had a lot of jokes when I read this one. So, old Officer Becker was on a routine patrol when he saw some black smoke. That's not a racist term there, black smoke. Somebody wrote in the comments, why does it have to be black? And then another firefighter chimed in, which I thought was really cute. And he said, because if it was white smoke, it would indicate that there was water being put on it. Therefore, first responders would be there. So if you see black smoke, nobody's gotten there yet, and you should probably go check it out. And I was like, damn, that was pretty awesome. Wish I was a firefighter. But anyway, so this officer, Becker, he sees the black smoke. He goes in the direction, sees that a house is on fire. He starts to approach the house. It's completely engulfed in flames. The garage door comes up halfway, kind of leans in. This woman's inside, and she's like, my husband, he can't get out. He's elderly. He's like in his late 70s. And so he gets her out, and then he yells for the guy, and the guy is yelling back, but he says he can't move. And so Becker's got to go, and he's got to make that decision. The house is fully engulfed in flames. He goes in, he grabs the guy, he drags the dude out, and he saves the day. And, it's every cop's dream to be a firefighter for one day.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool. No gear, none of the fucking space suits. He didn't have to wait for them to fucking drag out the hoses and all the policies and the bureaucracy. This is a cop that just said, you know what? Guns up, giddy up.
Guns up, giddy up. Failure. Can't stop, won't stop.
He's going
right in. He wolf packed up. Went in.
So that is our Ghostbed Hump Day Hero.
Did you ever go into a fire with no spacesuit or anything like that while you were working?
No, I went to a call where 3 of the officers did. And I was like, well, that's 3. That's enough. I will stay right out. I'll stay right out here and monitor the situation from outside.
Yeah. I showed up on fires, different stuff like that. I never was in a circumstance where it was required me to go in. But then I got like coworkers of mine that have done it like 3 times, like where they just happen to be in these crazy situations, like apartment buildings and whatever else. And hospitalized. My buddy Nate's been hospitalized like twice for smoke inhalation from going in and trying to be the freaking hero with no spacesuit. It's nuts, man. I never had the opportunity though.
Yeah, I had a partner, and there was an apartment fire. This is the one I was talking about, and I had arrived on scene, and she had already went inside and did the whole like get the baby from the top floor and help lower it down. Not the top floor, but like the second floor. Yeah. Lower the baby down out the window. And then she retreated back out. Well, there's this other officer who's just notorious for being a piece of shit. And he's that officer that shows up last to the calls, but then collects the glory. And we were all standing there, and he was like, she needs help. And I'm like, nope, she's good. She's great. That woman's already climbing down the gutter. She's handing the baby over. She's getting out. She's good to go.
She's shimmying. You don't climb down a gutter, you shimmy.
And by the way, this whole thing was like, there was a lot of over theatrics here because the fire was like on the opposite end of the building. So the lady could have just like
just gone downstairs.
You know, it's like it's the inner city, and so everybody wants attention. So she's like doing the so everything. So this guy runs into the bottom floor. He doesn't go upstairs or anything. He stands in the bottom floor, and he's like, are you okay up there? Do you need anything? Are you okay? What's going on? And she's like, just doing work. And then she comes down and she's fine. And when they write up the report, of course, he ran into the flames and there was fire everywhere, and he was checking on his partner. So he gets the big award, and we all kind of made fun of him because we're like, she deserves the award. You, not so much.
Oh my gosh, dude. I don't know if we've ever talked about this. I know that it's like kind of like it's out there on like the Mike the Cop stuff, but my first gig was in Michigan. I don't know, public safety. So it's police and fire. So went to the academy, get through FTO and all that stuff on the police side. And then they sent me to the fire academy to have that skill set too, which was crazy. I mean, like if you put water on fire, it tends to disappear. So, I mean, it was a very complex situation to get through that schooling, but I did all that. And I remember like the first, like legit, like this place is burning down fire that I helped work. I was like brand new at the fire thing. So I'm not like on the attack. Like I'm not at the front of the hose gripping it. I'm not going in like, I'm not going in where angels fear to tread. I wasn't going into the flames. I was literally, all I was doing was I was in my spacesuit, changing out people's air tanks and getting water all for hours though. Right. Like I'm sweating my balls off doing this. And then when it's all said and done, my job is to go in and get these 2 like 100-pound pit bulls that have died of smoke inhalation and are waterlogged and weigh now like 200 pounds each, drag those out, put them in a bag, put them in the back of a truck and drive them to an incinerator.
Yeah.
And
while you were doing that, while you were driving the dogs out, I can just hear, there goes my hero.
Yeah. There's probably like this epic image of me with smoke behind, and I'm just carrying this dead dog in my arms. Like, yeah, one over each shoulder.
Your mascara's running.
And I grabbed thankfully there was like a gallon-sized Ziploc bag in the truck because it smelled so bad. To have 2 dead smoke-laden dogs, I was overcome by the stench and puked my guts up into a Ziploc bag. And I tossed that into the incinerator as well. So, yeah, RIP to those dogs. And that's my fire experience. And yeah, so I'm technically a firefighter as well. That certification never expires. So once a fireman, always a fireman. And,
everybody loves a fireman. You can go to a call, you can save a domestic, you can like save a person's relationship by mediating a domestic and keeping everybody out of jail. And you can
change the entire course of a child's life.
And then like everybody still fucking hates you. A firefighter can come up and all he saves is the foundation of the house. I mean, they have fucking blown everything out with water. Everything is destroyed and ruined. And everybody's like, oh, God, thank you. Have a sub sandwich. Or like, do you guys need some Gatorade? Or
will you marry my daughter? Like I'll give her to you in marriage right now.
When I lived in Florida, I was dating this girl and they had a pool house. They had like a pool and then they had like a little pool house that had like a bathroom and a changing room and a shower and the whole 9 yards. And there was a candle lit in there. And I had went in there and changed my clothes and I had thrown my board shorts up on the sink next to the candle. And I even said, oh, as soon as I get my pants and stuff on, I should probably move that so it doesn't catch my board shorts on fire. Well, I forgot. And like a couple hours later, the whole thing was engulfed in flames. Not like engulfed, but like there's smoke billowing out of the room and everything. Well, the firefighters, they come in there and they just start bashing things with axes and they flood the whole room out and they rip out the sink and everything. They're like, we don't know where this fire came from. Like it seems like it's electrical, but we've beat in all the walls and we don't see anything that could have caused it. And I just kept my mouth shut the whole time. I'm pretty sure that was
burned down a building. You son of a bitch. Well, I'll tell you what, man, working in the department where you're working in both capacities, I would be driving so we didn't have periods where you were just a firefighter. You're like sort of like you have a couple guys at the station that are booking prisoners and handling lobby reports and that kind of thing. And they were there to drive the trucks if necessary, but everybody else just kept their spacesuits in the trunk. So whatever. But when you were driving on a cop car, you'd be getting people like, F you, man, F the police, all this stuff. And then but you'd be driving your fire truck around and people are like, hi, we love you. It was an obvious difference. But the great part about the public safety world is like, you could put your spacesuit on. You knew a guy had a felony warrant in this apartment. Well, you just go over there in your spacesuit and say there's a gas leak and everyone has to exit the thing. Out comes Trayvon and you throw the handcuffs on.
That should be illegal, Mike. Come on, that's cheating.
Yeah, that was entrapment for sure, probably. But I did it.
Deflating the balls at a NFL football game. I love the firefighters. I've always adored them. I never really played pranks on the firefighters. However, the firefighters relentlessly played pranks on us. But when it snows real bad, we always like lock ourselves in at the fire station and just take calls from the fire station. Because in Raleigh it doesn't snow, but like maybe 1 week a year, and then the whole city just fucking goes into chaos and shuts down. Yeah. But I felt because
you guys probably don't have like salt trucks and stuff, right? Like
no. I mean it's mayhem. There's
a half inch of snow can bring the city to its knees.
It's memes galore. But I was sleeping on the couch and I took my clip-on tie off and like set it down next to me. And when I woke up, I couldn't find my clip-on tie, and they had already taken it outside in a cup of water and froze it into a cup of water. And so I'm like trying to go to this call and like break the ice to try to get my tie out of the cup. And I was like, you motherfuckers, man. Like that was smart. It's genius. But I never got a chance to retaliate. So
yeah, it happens. It happens. Anyway, that was our hump day hero. So good job.
Living the dream, baby.
Saving someone. That's what they say, right? Cops and firefighters both want the same thing, to be
Listen, that hump day hero went out. It got shared like over 300 times or something like that Facebook post. So
more than that, I think even.
It was a lot. Yeah. I mean, that was like in the, I don't check so often. But there was like more comments than I could possibly keep up with. And so these hump day heroes, they really do get a lot of great recognition. So if there is somebody out there, and listen, don't tell me that he's like patrolled his community faithfully for 31 years. And I was like, nobody gives a fuck about that. He got paid to do that. And like, I want to hear some shits. I want to hear like fucking some really good stories. Don't waste my time, please.
Don't waste our time.
Some real heroes, folks. I want it. Like, it's got to have some entertainment.
It's got to have value. It's got to have that guns up, giddy up factor.
Yeah, man. I want to get Roman hard. You know what I mean? GetRoman.com/Wolfpack.
We've had a lot of subtle sponsor mentions this episode. I'm really proud of that. And it just goes to show you it's genuine, you know?
That's it's cool. I really do.
Danny Natcher says 97,938 people were reached by that post about the Hump Day Hero. I love when Danny's in the house. There you go.
I do. We got a lot of comments and messages and screenshots of people who buy the products that we endorse on the show. And it does mean a lot to me, especially to see those endorsements, because without those endorsements, we couldn't do the show. But two, like, do you know how hard it is to find companies to endorse a show like ours that's pro police? That's like,
no kidding, man.
So, like, I mean, really, when these guys are supporting the show, they are truly supporting LEO. They're truly supporting first responders. So
yeah, it's a big risk for a company to overtly sponsor two dudes saying the things that we say and in the way that we say them. So to all of our sponsors that are like the primary ones, oh my gosh, thank you. It's truly a big help. And for you guys that don't tune out and you actually like listen to us talk about this, I mean, thank you. Thank you so much. Then that's genuine. Like I really mean it. Like this is what keeps the show going. Like, I mean, this is why they haven't fired us yet. So,
I mean, so it's going to take us on this morale tour. It's what's going to get us through DC at Cop Week, to be able to hang out with you and to throw out all this swag. I mean, Mike and I aren't making a whole bunch of money off this. We're reinvesting most of this money back in there to help to visit these departments, to have all this swag, to do the things that we want to do. So, I mean, from the bottom of our hearts, guys, thank you. And we just hope that we're entertaining enough for you and that you get something from us.
Speaking of entertaining, you put it out on the Failure to Stop Instagram. I put it out on Mike the Cop yesterday, trying to get the weirdest things that have ever been found on search warrants. So I have kind of like a granddaddy of them. And I actually have a very disturbing photo to post. If you want your friends to be exposed to this extremely disturbing photo in like a few minutes when we get to it, share the stream up right now. Definitely share this podcast with somebody. You're going to have to, I don't know where you're going to see it other than this video. And honestly, I'm risking YouTube stopping the stream. I don't know how if they have screen reading software that picks up on the shape of penises, we're going to have a problem. I don't know.
I think as long as it's not a real penis, we're good. The whole thing sparked, though, because we put this on our Failure to Stop Instagram. Make sure you go over there and follow us, because we try to engage. And I actually did not post everybody's answers, because when I posted this question, so many people responded, and it was like 99.9% dildos, which made me laugh a lot,
amount of.
But I'm not going to flood our Instagram with dildos. But this whole thing sparked because one of my buddies, they breached the door to a house on a search warrant. And when they kicked the door in, the man was actively riding a dildo on all fours. He had the dildo mounted to the wall. He was on all fours. Gosh. And they were like, get on the ground. He's like, hold on, it's inside of me. And they're like, he's off of it. He's off of it. And they were like,
they don't teach you those. They don't teach you those commands in the academy. They should have it.
He eases off of this massive chocolate dildo. And he lays down and he says, he's like, I was stepping over him and I was keeping my muzzle down on him, and as I step over him, like, he's just like, his asshole was just gaping. It was like seeing,
stop. No.
Welcome to our world, baby.
No. Yeah. Every cop on a search warrant or in a house has encountered a dildo. There's no doubt about it.
It's my favorite was finding a dildo in a Bible case. There was a Bible case, and
well
I picked the Bible case
hidden
to move it, and I felt something like rattle in there that was a little bit bigger than a highlighter, and I unzipped the Bible case, and there is a nice good size vibrator.
Gosh,
but you know what I mean? She's getting the Holy Spirit and getting a holy orgasm as well, I guess.
I don't know about that. So I'm going to read a few of these. I don't know if you have any answers to that question on our Instagram to read, Tansey. We can kind of ping pong this back. It's all the same. Yeah. I mean,
you can go to the Instagram and look at it. I mean, I'll catch up on it later.
I purposely chose to like leave off all the dildo ones because I'm not kidding. It's like 70% of them are all dildos. That's like what people find. But that's not, I don't think that's super uncommon to exist. It's just, so it's not whatever. But this one, I'm just going to read through a few of these, and then I'll build to the granddaddy of them all. 20 dead animals in a house and only one kitten alive in a locked rabbit cage. That'd be weird. Oh, you submitted this to me, Eric.
What?
You dildo in a Bible case. What you answered?
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now on my Instagram.
You saw it posted, and I felt like saying it. I'm one of the dildo bandits. I'm one of the dildo dorks.
You stole it? You stole the dildo dorks. You said you called yourself a dildo bandit. Is that a Freudian slip? Are you out there like do you have a collection of ones that you got on search warrants sitting somewhere in some weird room in your basement?
I will post pictures of
or in the woods next to your house.
Yeah, I'll post me with dildos on Instagram. I've got lots of pictures of me laughing while putting dildos into evidence.
Oh my gosh.
But listen, when I did search warrants, we did search warrants every week. One of my favorite things to do is I would take the dildo or the dong, if they were a piece of shit, like if we already had the evidence that these dudes are definitely guilty of why we did this search warrant, I would then take said dildo that I found or strap on or whatever it is, and I would take it down to the most public area of the house, and I would put it like on the coffee table or like set it like on the kitchen table. So when everybody like else came to the house to like clean up, they would see this like massive strap on whatever they kind of kinked.
Yeah. I never really found weird things. I know that I said this on my Instagram yesterday too in the story. It was like I watched a newer cop who also is probably just naive about life in general. This place was not a clean duplex. Let's just put it that way, right? And he went to the back room, which was doubling as an F shack, and he's like, "What's this?" And he picks it up barehanded, no gloves, and it's 100% a used condom. And I'm like, "Bro, what are you doing?" And he's like, oh. And I'm like, what? New cop, tunnel vision. Gross. Someone says, here's a couple of good ones. A weird one that he found the suspect wearing a robe and who ultimately farted in my face. There's got to be more of a story. How do you end up under his robe where he's farting in your face? There's more to the story there. A skinned dog head in the freezer. Oh, skinned dog head in the freezer.
Was that the house of an Asian?
I don't know. A complete suit of
dog and rice.
Suit of medieval armor sitting on the couch.
Is that a thing though? Do Asians? Is that just like a weird joke, or do Asians really do eat cats and dogs? Is that a thing, or is that just?
I'll tell you this: I was in Seoul, Korea, in 1988, and I was walking around, and we were there. My mom was competing in the Paralympics, and so we were there for like 2 weeks, and we met another American there that lived there. And as we were walking down the streets, we saw like a wagon of puppies. I'm like, oh, I was in junior high at the time. Right. And so like, oh, hey, look at the dogs. And the American that was sort of like our guide for the day, like hanging out with us, was like, oh, that's somebody's dinner. Oh. So this was in Korea in the 1980s from someone that lived there. So that's all I had to go on.
Yeah.
So
the old dog and rice is real.
I don't know, let's see.
I would eat it though. I would be down with it. I would eat it. I don't care. Like we eat squirrels, we eat dogs, we don't eat dogs. We eat squirrels, we eat deer. I would eat a dog. I would eat a cat. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, if it came down to it, right?
Not even if it came down to it. If it was on a menu and you could have like cat noodle, I'd be like, you know what? Shit, let's give that a. I like squirrel. We eat squirrel and squirrel gravy. My kids love it. We do it, 2 or 3 times a year. Our kids shoot a couple squirrels and we eat them.
Squirrels. I've had squirrel. Yeah,
squirrels can't be that much different than a fucking cat.
I don't know.
If anything, squirrel's more gross than a cat. I would totally eat a cat on the record.
Yeah, well, I believe you. Let's see. Moved his car. We left the turkey. Man, there's a lot of dildos.
I would eat Boston Joe's dog.
Oh, ooh, gross. A baby rattlesnake in a bucket on the kitchen table. No warnings. Just heard the rattle. Oh yeah. What? Yikes. Yikes.
People are so weird.
Let's see. A hidden secret room for satanic worship.
Oh, we all need that in our life. Was that in Hillary Clinton's basement or?
Probably. Oh, a bathtub completely full of crap because the toilet was broke and full.
Oh, gross.
Yikes. handcuffs from a partner's agency. They had his badge number on them, so they were returned to the owner. So I had this too. People said they found their old badges. I'm like, what? Was this guy visiting one of the past like frequent flyers here off the record? What's going on? How do they have his badge like or handcuffs like that? Like, wait a second.
I was searching a car once. So we have those little tiny flashlights. Our department doesn't have like the big giant ones. We have like the little tiny LED flashlights. And I was searching a car once and I was looking up underneath the seat and I pulled out one of our departmental issued flashlights. And I was like, hey man, is this your flashlight? And he's like, nah, ain't my flashlight. I was like, I don't know where that came from. And he's like, is it a nice flashlight? I was like, no, it's a piece of shit, but it's ours. So
oh my gosh.
Some dude was trying to get up under there, probably trying to get the last little crack rock that was in there from the last cop that searched that car. And he put his flashlight down and reached his arm in there and he got the crack, got super excited. Yeah, baby, I got my rock. And forgot his flashlight right under the seat.
Oh my gosh. There's man, 2 Korean hookers. Speaking of
are they Korean
Korea,
hookers or is this like something being like sex traded? Because then
I don't know, man.
Like a lot more dramatic, a lot quicker.
Yeah. A lot of people saying check your DMs or whatever. Like they sent me photos, a wad of cash in a vacuum cleaner bag. That's actually not too unusual, but I mean, you would want to look in places like that for the money. But Andy, can you throw up this other one? Guys, get ready. Get ready.
Creme de la creme.
I was able to blur it.
Oh, you were able to blur it and save us a little bit. You guys are going to get the idea anyway. And I'll tell you, let me tell you what this is. The cop sent me the picture and says, they thought this would scare the popo away. Like, so found it. He said, teddy bear this is a teddy bear you're looking at with a strap on and a bra. It had a fake butt, attached to it somehow with a hole with a vibrating butt plug-ins.
It looks like an IED. It looks like something that you would move it and it explodes.
I don't know what was going on here, but it's nothing that I would ever want to see again. So you're welcome. If I had to look at it, you had to look at it.
I love how they put the lay on there. So, do you think somebody was fucking that thing?
A Hawaiian theme. I don't know. It looks like it had already been blown up.
I'm gonna treat my girl right. I'm gonna put a lay on her.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's get that out of here. This is terrible.
I can't stop looking at it. I'm
body odor cigarettes mixed with piss. Brian Binky says it. Yeah, there's hey, Tansey, you have a fan in the comments. Texas Gunslinger says, I'm a Second Amendment absolutist, and I have no problem with an officer securing a weapon during a traffic stop. And I would say that most people don't. I would say that most gun owners would have no problem if an officer says, hey, I would feel more comfortable with this. Like it's not a push come to shove issue. Like most of the time there's no problem between cops and Second Amendment people at all. It's virtually a made up problem. Made up by, yahoos like that, who are like, oh, you left wing nut because you think it's a reasonable request to separate me from my gun. Fuck you. States' rights, motherfucker. All right. So before we dive into the Brevard County ambush and related conversation that will ensue from that, who do we want to thank as our sponsor and let people know about?
Oh, today's show is brought to you by Ghostbed, ghostbed.com/drinking bros. We love Ghostbed. Matter of fact, we just got a text message or a message that somebody bought a Ghostbed with the adjustable base. They were super excited. Says the most expensive. I mean, like the most expensive bed they've ever bought because they've bought nothing but cheap beds their whole life. And so they got super excited about our show. They used the promo code. He got the adjustable base. His son liked it so much, who's a teenager, that his son ends up coaxing him into buying another one. So he bought 2 ghost beds using our promo code, and he was really excited about that this week. And so I always get pumped up, man, when people are pumped. But we love Ghostbed because they've been a sponsor for the last 5 years of Drinking Bros. We are part of the Drinking Bros network. And my favorite part about Ghostbed is that they are made in the good old USA.
USA.
Dang it.
You told me to go faster.
How many weeks in are we on this? How many weeks? This is like week 12. God.
It's 14. It's on the screen. It says episode 14 on the screen.
14 weeks, and we still can't get a ready. 1, 2, 3.
USA.
Oh man,
what do you want me to do? I just matched you, and then last week you said I was going too slow, and I got to go faster.
I can lead a horse to the water. I can't.
You're setting me up for failure, dude.
Every mattress has a 20-year warranty. You can try it out for 101 nights, not 99, not 102, 101 nights. If you don't like it, you can easily return it. No hard feelings, but you won't. One of our favorite
will be magical nights.
One of our favorite parts about Ghostbed is that each mattress has cooling technology in it. So if you get hot at night, like we do here in North Carolina, this thing is a lifesaver. Look, man, the humidity
we get hot down here in North Carolina. We're looking for a bed to make us cool.
And look, the cooling technology, it's like when you are sleeping on the cool side of your pillow and you flip the pillow. I mean, you are sleeping on your pillow and it gets hot and you flip it to the cool side. That's what laying on a Ghostbed or having the Ghostbed pillows is like all the time. So it really is, that whole cooling technology is super clutch.
Hey, Tansey, I'm down here in North Carolina. I'm looking for a bed that I sleep so good it's scary. You ever heard of something like that? It's supposed to be extra cool, and you know how the nights get down here.
Well,
you got your teddy bear and your makeshift butt plug hole, and you're getting warm. Things are heating up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just looking to get cool. I'm just looking to cool down and get a good night's rest. You know anything like that?
Well, Ghostbed also, Ghostbed also offers bundles, so you can get everything you need. You don't even really have to think about it. You just choose from their 4 mattresses and then pick your bundle. So whether you just need a mattress and a frame, or you want it all, I want it all.
I want it all. Oh, and I want it now.
God bless. But if you want everything like their cooling pillows and their sheets, you can get that.
COVID.
You can get the best bang for your buck. Right now, Ghostbed is offering a flash sale, 40% off Ghostbed bundles where you get the mattress and the adjustable base, or 30% off everything if you use the promo code Drinkin' Bros, DRINKIN Bros at ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros. $35 a month, 0 down, 0% financing if you have mediocre at best credit. Again, that's ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros, made in the good old USA. 15 massage modes, 0 gravity, 20-year warranty. Come on now, made in the good old USA. Get you a Ghostbed and get it today.
Go on down and get you a Ghostbed. All right. Anybody else before we dive in?
Nah, let's just dive in. Let's go for it, baby.
Let's dive in. Feels like a truck ad. Built Ghostbed tough.
Hell yeah. If you don't like Ghostbed, then you don't like America. And if you don't like America, then
if you got yourself a large Karen counterpart and she's ready to get down to it, then you need to get yourself a Ghostbed. It'll hold up to the tension.
Put her on a Ghostbed.
I don't know. This doesn't make any sense. I don't know if I can say that liberals aren't allowed to sleep on Ghostbeds because I don't know their position on that, but I don't know.
Well, obviously they can because I'm a left-wing nut.
Yeah, you left-wing freaking psychopath.
So we're good.
You liberal Chad. Should we when do you have the date that this incident happened? I know it was within the last week, right? Or at least the video came to light in the last week. The
video did. It's
not a big deal either way. I mean, it's recent. It's not like this is years ago. All of our other breakdown stuff was like years ago, whatever.
No,
but this is recent, and it's deputies Potters and Toman. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it exactly right. Toman. August 30th it happened. Okay, so recent.
Right.
Good job,
and
Andy.
the video,
man,
the video
Andy did the first thing ever as a producer that was valuable besides get me coffee. I actually, speaking of which, could you heat some up for me? I'm seriously in the mood for coffee in my failure to stop mug.
You got a failure to stop mug, you son of a bitch.
Dude, I didn't get a leadership mug yet though. We got to get those things.
I didn't get any mugs yet.
But I did get a failure to stop mug. Heck yeah, I'm drinking out of it right now. August 30th, deputies Potters and Toman in Brevard County, Florida. They're on a traffic stop, and the lay of the land is that there are 3 adult males in the vehicle, and there is a 2-month-old child in the vehicle. And where the video that I've seen, and we're gonna play it so that if you guys are watching this, as soon as Andy gets back in the room and in the right moment where Tansey says thumbs up, we'll play the video without commentary. We'll just kind of let you see it. And if you are listening to the show, It's actually pretty intense to even listen to, honestly, but you won't see it, but you just come to the social medias and watch it, or you look it up later, and we'll walk through it so you might get a good idea of what's happening. But they have there's two cops, and there are two people out of the car, which creates an interesting situation, right? One is by patrol car number one is behind the suspect vehicle, and then a third subject is inside the car in the back seat with a 2-month-old. And officer one is back at his patrol car on the side with the first guy. And thank you, Andy. And then officer two is sort of trying to watch both people, one in the back of the car, one in the car, and one at the back of the car. And that's kind of like,
well, what we have here is we've got a couple of things. We've got an officer that's trying to do the right thing, trying to be a good community police officer by allowing somebody to stay in the car with their 2-month-old child, because he was empathetic and he had compassion. Also, while you're about to watch this video, for those of you who were so angry that I talked about separating and having a reasonable right of a cop to ask somebody if they have a firearm, what if one of these officers, the first things out of their mouth was, is there any firearms in their car? And then watched for indicators to see if there was. And if we look at the Volusia County shooting that happened not too far from this incident, where the officer asked, hey man, do you have something in the car that I need to know about? And the guy just goes numb, and he looks out the window, and he's like, hey man, what's the matter with you? Why are you just looking out the window? And he's like a ghost, and he's in shock. And then he's like, hey man, whatever you're thinking about doing, how about don't do it? Let's just talk this out. You've got a suspended license. You have somebody that can pick up the truck. The guy's just staring out the window, blank stare on his face. All the indicators that something in that car is not right. He puts the car in drive and takes off. After a chase, he gets out, shoots the police officer. Police officer return fire and shoot and kill him. So I don't think it's unreasonable. And I think every cop on every traffic stop, I mean, it's just common practice. Yeah. I mean, even though the old lady doesn't have a firearm, if you're not going to do it for one, in my opinion, I like to do things the same way every time. If I'm drawing my pistol from the holster, it's muscle memory, man. I know exactly how that thing's coming out. I know exactly where it's getting punched, and we do it over and over again. So I'm always going to ask, hey, is there anything in the car I need to know? Do you have any firearms? It's just like when you're with somebody that's going to commit suicide, you should ask them, are you thinking about committing suicide?
Yes.
Because they will give you indicators if they are or they're not. Right. So looking for indicators, I don't think that is a left-wing nut, conspiracy, don't invade my rights. No, I think as a cop that's enforcing a law, and this is a great video that kind of shows you where I'm coming from. And look, I've had 4 friends get shot while I was on duty. So I've seen other friends of mine with bullet holes in them. I don't want any in me. And so call me a coward, call me afraid, call me all the things that you said about me all week. That's fine. I'll own those because this is exactly what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, no, this is a good training point. And also somebody did bring up a good point, and I actually made a note of this to talk about is, our fearless and also clueless commander in chief right now, Buck Fiden. He is one who says, just shoot him in the leg, man. Come on, man. Just shoot him in the leg. And that's exactly what happens in this situation. And all it did was end up irritating the assailant, who then pulled a double ambush, limping around on one leg. So that's exactly why you don't just shoot him in the leg. So there's a lot of training points here. So you think we're cool to just like play that video real quick, Tansey?
Yeah.
So guys, if you haven't seen this, you'll see it right now. And then we'll play it. And then we'll just kind of like start walking through it and see where the conversation goes with it.
No, female. I'll make sure they're all right. I got babies too, man. Huh? Okay. Shit! Hey! Shit! I'm hit! John, rifle!
Epic mag dump.
Yeah, it gets my dick hard.
1426, comment red, 51 is anything.
Boom. So, wow, lot happens. And how long was that clip? Yeah, like 90 seconds. That'll change your life right there. if you are those two deputies, that's a, well, if you're anybody watching that, that's like, man, you see how fast it goes from literally an officer, like you said, like trying to be a good guy, right? Like he's built his conversation, like, hey, I got babies too. You know, like he literally already told the guy that just is moments later going to be shooting this guy in the leg. Well, he tried to shoot him elsewhere, but he just sucks at shooting anyway. But he's like, literally, I'm like you. He's trying to identify with this guy and say, yeah, I got babies too. Like I have kids. He just told him he's got kids. No one, the cops aren't being jerks about anything. And this guy was just hell-bent on trying to end people's lives.
I've said this on the show a few times, and I've gotten lit up for it a few times, and I'm glad that we're getting to go into this video so I can kind of let our viewers know where I'm coming from as a police officer. But when you're working, especially in a high crime area, but I would even argue that if it's a low crime area, it should always be the same, right? Your tactics, you should always be ready to win. And mindset is so important. And we're getting away from this whole warrior mindset. We like to cheese on it. So we like to make fun of other cops for having it. But when I would approach a car and I would deal with anything, I treated everybody the same. And your tone of voice can say one thing, but it's like acting, right? So I can steeple my fingers here, which it's acting. This is an act. Me talking like this with my fingers steepled in front of my chest and talking to you empathetically is an act, because what I'm really doing is I'm sizing you kind of up, and I have my hands in a great position to draw my weapon or to punch you in the face. And I'm thinking of all the tons of ways that I can destroy you right now, but I'm also going to do things to look for indicators. And this is training that every cop you should invest in your own training on indicator-based training, but you should ask those hard questions that are uncomfortable. That guy, hey man, I see that you got a 2-year-old kid. I mean, that's awesome, but his stance was a little bit off. He wasn't ready for a gunfight. Even when he got hit, you can hear it in his tone of voice. Oh, I'm hit. And of course that is a scary and terrible thing. But it's because he was caught off guard. And I really don't think that he thought in that time he was going to be in the fight of his life. Whereas you got to get ready to go in every single day that you wake up as an officer. You need to know that any stop could be the one. The guys who died in the Sovereign Citizen episode, they thought they were dealing with a preacher and a preacher's son, and they were murdered. Both of them were murdered on the side of the road.
I took a lot of flack. I had a General Mattis saying, that's a pretty famous saying attributed to him: be polite, be professional, but have a plan to kill everyone you meet. Absolutely. And that was on my locker at work. And when I had those stickers and stuff, people that weren't cops, like my fellow officers didn't have a problem with that, but people who don't understand that mindset are like, so you're saying that cops do want to go out and kill people? And it's like, no, we don't. We want to be polite and professional. That's what we want. But if we don't have the plan to be ready to handle business when we have to, then we're a step behind. If this is that mindset, right? Every time, it doesn't matter if it's the grandma, it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't mean that you have to portray yourself as a jerk. Some cops are just a-holes for no reason, because they're just being that way when it's not necessary to communicate like an a-hole. But every cop has to be ready. And if you when you are suiting up in the locker room are reminding yourself each and every shift, okay, this is it in my mind. So for me at my locker, I was like thanking God for my family and my life up to that point. And like, I'm saying, I'm putting this stuff on and this might be it. And I'm going to go do my job. Like I'm ready for this. And then the last thing I would look at when I closed the door, be polite, be professional, but have a plan to kill everyone you meet. And so I took that responsibility, and I encourage all you cops that are still on the road to take that responsibility and say, I have a plan, because being a step behind the bad guy the bad guy already knows that he's got his weapon and he's formulating a plan. As soon as those lights flick on, he's formulating a plan, good or bad. And if you already anticipate, I plan on this person. I plan that when these lights go on, this guy or girl or whoever's in this car could hop out and have weapons and be ready to put them on me. If I'm pulling somebody over with, I'm already planning on that, and then it doesn't happen, I'm winning. I'm ahead, you know? And so we have to put ourselves in positions of advantage before the traffic stop ever starts.
And that's where I've always had a big problem with the way policing is going now, because it's open-handed kindness with no plan to have an iron fist. Now, all the credit for these officers. They did a great job. They stayed in the fight.
Absolutely.
Exactly what they had to do.
They stayed in, won. So, hey, kudos to these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the first thing I notice, and if you don't think that gang members, if you don't think that thugs, if you don't think any of the human beings that wish to do you harm aren't sizing you up as a cop, they're sizing you up every time. When you have that mustard stain on your shirt, those motherfuckers see that. And
yep.
These officers, this guy knew in his brain that he wasn't going to jail. And wow, what a fighter he was. That guy was committed. He even took one in the leg and stayed in the fight himself. So this dude knew what he was doing that day. And he went committed, and he was going to give it his all. So these officers looked good. They looked sharp. And that makes me, that makes me feel good. I don't know that you could have looked any better and persuaded this guy to do anything different just based on your looks alone. I think the fight was always going to be there. However, I think, in this instance, in this scenario, the only way this fight could have gone different is the young officer who had the gentleman out of the car. There should have been a hard conversation about what was in the car right off of the bat, because I feel like that dude, he had nothing. He was not in that fight at all. As soon as that first shot was fired, that young man in the red shirt, he ran to that wood line faster. He probably broke records getting into that wood line. He was the one that
they pieced out real quick.
He would have been the one that would have given you that indicator. Hey man, is there any guns in that car? And when his head looks back and he looks at you and says, now we know, right? Because we have an
yeah. And to be fair to this whole situation, I literally have not watched. If there's more footage, which I'm sure there definitely is more footage, right? Yeah. I have no clue what the context of the conversation was up to this point. Sure. Were they waiting for, because the dude who shall be only known as the turd, I'm not going to say his name because screw him.
I don't know his name. Like, I think you pretty much have to be a piece of shit. If your parents name you Paris and you're a dude, I mean, it's like being called Sue. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
a boy named Sue. But that's too cool that's a Johnny Cash song, and I don't even want to give him that credit. This guy's just a freaking turd. This guy's a hot steaming pile of turd, and now he's a dead turd, which is the best kind of turd. And goodbye.
Before we get into
good day, sir.
We're going to talk about old Paris' criminal record. We're going to talk about his past. We're going to talk about what the sheriff had to say. But first, we're going to go with one more ad read really fast. Please don't fast forward through this, because this is what keeps this shit wagon on the road. Plus, this is from a Navy SEAL. So, I mean, he's got that going for him.
Heck yeah, bro.
As Mike was talking about earlier, your current supplements kind of leave you falling, kind of feel you cashed out, a little bit flat. We get it. There's supplements all over the place. What I really like about Cardomax and what I talked about at the beginning of the show is just kind of this like holistic approach to it, where it's just exactly what you need. There's no extra additives. There's nothing not natural that's in these things. But life on the front lines, and these guys were on the front lines, they require you to step up your game. Cardomax is owned and operated by former Navy SEAL Sean Matson and fellow drinking bro. He's been a drinking bro from the beginning, baby. But Cardomax has designed just the right supplements for us as first responders, for anybody that's in the game. Cardomax Energy Intensifier uses the least amount of ingredients as possible. There's absolutely no junk in there to give you energy that you need to optimize your workouts or whatever else you need a boost for, work, dealing with kids, some ungodly hour in the morning, driving, the long hauls, whatever it is. That energy intensifier is going to get you through it, man. Cardomax will keep you going. The energy intensifier comes in an easy to mix liquid packet in 2 great flavors, blue raspberry and pink lemonade. Pink lemonade is my favorite. It has B3, B6, B12 vitamins, caffeine, BCAAs. Tastes great. The ingredients are healthy. It's made by a veteran and a drinking bro, and that's why we love Cardomax. We always support our veterans. We always support our fellow drinking bros. If you're a drinking bro, and you've got a product, we're always going to support that. But it is a healthy pick-me-up. I love the little shaker cup that it comes in. Cardomax is offering Failure to Stop, an exclusive offer of 30% off of your next 4 orders, go to cardomax.com and use promo code WOLFPACK, all capital letters. That is CARDOMAX.com. And please use that promo code WOLFPACK and you will get 30% off your next 4 orders. And these orders are big. You get a lot of packets in these orders, so you can use like one a day for a long time. That's cardomax.com, helping you achieve your max. Promo code WOLFPACK.
Oh gosh, I hate it so bad. I hate you. So tactically speaking, I would, if I was by myself, I never got somebody out of the car ever. Everyone stayed in the car where I knew where they were at, and I would position myself as best as I could until I had other officers there, because I want the numbers to be better in my favor, right?
Yes.
And I also learned I got a lot of people out of cars and put them in handcuffs and sit them on the side of the road too, like in situations like that, one at a time with officers present. So I think these guys are in a county. I don't know the density of this, but I feel like overall, if for whatever reason they're getting them out, one-on-one back here, you've got the other guy, and in between, he's trying to kind of play double duty, watch the guy at the back of the car, watch the guy in the car. I don't know why everyone's out of the car versus being in the car, but are they maybe checking them for warrants or something like that?
Well, I want to go ahead and say, just from seeing the car, and you got a guy in the back seat, Mr. Perry, and Mr. Perry has a massive rap sheet. So he's probably rolling around. He's probably rolling around with 2 other turds that have just as much of a rap sheet. These officers, these are good cops, right? They probably knew what they were pulling over, right? This looks like one of those stops. The way that the younger officer's kind of talking to the gentleman, he's like, okay, you know, for me, it would have been this guy like Darius Welcher, or I think he's in prison for murder right now. But he was just one of these common dudes that when you saw his car rolling around, it always had to stop because he didn't have a license, and so you kind of knew what you were dealing with. And to me, it kind of seems like, and again, it's just Monday morning quarterbacking. So please, if I'm wrong, this is just my perception, guys. That's what the show is all about, is what my perception is. It kind of seems like he probably knew what he was getting into, and he was like, all right, these guys are pieces of shit.
That's not a shocker. You have a basic idea in the daytime of like what you're getting yourself like.
Yeah, like, this guy, he doesn't have a license. I'm going to pull him over. He's probably got, somebody in that car's probably got warrants. Let's just figure out what we got, and let's try not to make anybody run. And
Mr. Turd did have warrants, and he had his. Now, a lot of people hate when this gets brought up, and I think it depends on the context, because sometimes it's like, oh, he has this past criminal history. Well, you can't judge someone just on their past. It doesn't necessarily impact the situation that they are in the moment. Not necessarily. It doesn't follow logically that just because they did X in the past, they're doing it right now. It's not like a if this then that, but there is a sense of, this guy who's really to blame in the situation is Mr. Turd. He has to own his own actions, but some wussy, labia-faced judge somewhere let this guy out on bond, and one of his 23 felonies in the past was attempted murder. Like, and this dude's just roaming around with a 2-month-old in the back of a car. You freaking morons. And people want to blame cops for the problems in our system. We need to start looking at people behind these on the bench, so to speak.
Yeah, you hear people talking about Derek Chauvin grabbing 22 years for what he did, and like there is no justice in racial communities. I mean, come on, man. How many fucking chances does this guy get? 40 previous arrests. Now, let's just say like 20 of those arrests were bullshit.
17 were misdemeanors, but it wasn't like unpaid ordinance fines violations. These are like armed robbery, attempted murder stuff.
Yeah.
And this guy's out on bond, like just roaming around.
23 felony arrests to include robbery with a firearm, aggravated assault with a weapon, multiple narcotics offenses, battery of law enforcement. And by the way, these aren't added up from one case either. These are all separate charges. And attempted first degree felony murder.
At what point does a judge go, you know what? You're bad for society.
He's a registered
what point?
career offender. He's a registered career offender. If you're registered as a career offender, where's the zero tolerance? And this guy knew that.
They're
right?
harder. They are harder on drunk drivers, which is, I'm not justifying drunk driving at all.
Sure.
It's terrible. You should not do it. You're a complete a-hole if you're out there drunk driving. Don't do it. But I've seen guys, their lives completely shredded from trying to deal with the fallout of drunk driving. And this guy is a career criminal cruising around with his turd homies with a firearm. Shocker. Trying to kill people, man.
A firearm ready to go. We're not talking about Trailer Park Joseph with his rifle hung in the back of his truck so everybody can see it, with his rebel flag and his "Don't Tread on Me" flag underneath that, and his Marine Corps sticker that he got from a recruiter that he didn't join because he blew out his knee. This was a dude who's sitting in the backseat of his car with an AR style pistol, which is basically a AR-15 without a buttstock and a shorter ish barrel. They call it an AR pistol, but it's an AR-15, a black rifle essentially, and
it's an assault weapon.
But I don't want to be a left-wing nut and call it an assault weapon. Piss off my "Don't Tread on Me's." So he's got this gun down between his seat, and he's ready to rock and roll, baby, next to a 2-year-old. I was trying to figure out what
2-month-old, I think.
I'm sorry, 2-month-old, and I'm trying to figure out what gang affiliation this guy has. But when you type in gang affiliation and firearms, all you get is Chicago Mayor Lightfoot's articles because she just can't stay out of the mail. She's
suing. She thinks the answer to gang violence is suing the gangs, right?
Yeah. And we'll get into that later. But I mean, this attack here is coming off of. We've had 266 cops died in the line of duty this far in 2021, and that number is actually up now. I think it's at 268. But you had August 17th, Deputy Brent Chitwood was shot in the chest on a fucking traffic stop. Okay. Then we have, of course, Chicago PD officer Ella French. That was on August 7th on a traffic stop. You've got this knucklehead shooting officer. I forgot the officer's name that was shot in this incident, but that was on a traffic stop. Then you have Officer Joe Burson of Holly Springs PD, who was killed by being dragged by a motorist. I know that's not a shooting, but I mean, we have a lot of car stop involved shootings and murders on police officers. So for you to accuse me of being a coward or be afraid of going on a traffic stop and separating somebody from a gun, I think is a tactic that is worth talking about. And I don't think that's a Second Amendment issue. I think that's a quality of life. And if you really do support police, if you really do support, those guys who are trying to protect and those veterans, I don't think you should have a problem with saying, "Hey, officer, will it make you feel better if I get out of the car and away from this firearm?" I mean, I'm not a bad guy, but I could see why you would be nervous, since 266 of your homies have died this year.
Yeah, when you're like, well, why do cops got to be so like straight and narrow or and this is in a personal conversation we talked about why troopers, I mean, they have the reputation of being a little bit more hard, right? Like in terms of like their approach, their demeanor, everything about them is a little bit more down the line, in their approach. But that's because they tend to have zero backup anywhere that's in a reasonable distance, and they're constantly by themselves in traffic stop situations, which are notoriously the most dangerous things that cops do. I mean, only to be followed by family troubles, domestic situations. Like it's traffic stops and family troubles. These are the things that you're constantly doing and engaging in, and they are the most dangerous. And usually troopers are focused on just that traffic enforcement. And so it's a dangerous thing.
I think it's a thing that citizens kind of forget very often when they watch the media or they watch the news and they see these videos, I mean, even if you're a veteran citizen and you have in the back of your head, well, I'm a veteran, I would do it this way and I would do it that way. But I think one of the key points that you miss is enforcing the law. There is a fear that's always behind what you are doing. And it's not a coward. When you stop in a car, just because it says the car belongs to Patsy Thelma, it doesn't mean that Patsy Thelma's driving the car.
Patsy Thelma.
That's my mom. That's a stripper. That's a good old stripper name right there. Next to the stage. No, it was a magician did that to my mom. He was like, next on stage, Patsy Thelma. He's a funny guy. But anyway, I mean, it might not be Patsy Thelma driving the car. It might be me. People don't understand that when you're walking up a long driveway by yourself as a cop and you can hear yelling and screaming inside, that there's something that adrenaline pumping, things are going on in your body. You're nervous. You are scared. And I would venture to challenge any of you hard asses out there. You just don't know how that feeling is until you're in it. I mean, shit, dude, a foot chase can be kind of stressful. When that dude takes off running from you, you have no idea what's going to happen. And your adrenaline goes through the roof, and then you tackle the guy and you get him into handcuffs and you go back and you watch your tape and you listen to yourself and you're like, damn, I'm in really good shape, but I was huffing and puffing a lot putting that guy. Listen to myself on the radio. I sound like a fucking train wreck. I'm not a train wreck in real life. I'm a highly trained guy. I've got combat experience. I sound like a fucking, like I just ran a marathon because the adrenaline's going on, all these things.
Dispatch, get my Cardomax. Get my Cardomax. I need an energy boost. Use code Wolfpack. Wolfpack.
When you watch these tapes, you need to.
Dude, I'm actually out of breath just doing that. I know.
Wow. You gotta put that in the back of your brain.
Seeing stars.
These cops go through. It's not that easy. And I watched the Volusia County shooting with the car, and those cops were cool, calm, and collect. And the dude drove off, and he hit some stuff, and they were just kind of laughing it off. And 10 minutes later, they're getting in a shootout in the fight of their life. But they were literally just laughing and joking. Oh, that guy just drove off. There's nothing we can do about it. And then they come in contact with him 10 minutes later, and he's getting to work on their windshield. So, be very careful when you watch these videos and kind of the things that you say, unless you've been there, unless you've been right in that situation alone by yourself, or a 2 versus 3 kind of scenario.
Yeah, somebody made a comment earlier about one of the guys that ran away. The guy in red shorts, kind of like legend has it, he's still running to this day. Like he's still going. He's just running toward the end of the flat Earth. He gone. But yeah, so this guy emerges and he recognizes I don't know if he was waiting to be told to step out of the car, like he was just waiting for his moment, because he gets asked to step out, and then he's like, "All right, it's go time." And the cop sees that gun, right? He has his literal "oh shit" moment, because that's exactly what he says, like "oh shit," and he starts bailing toward the back of the car to draw his weapon, and then it's game on. And honestly, fortunately for these cops, this guy was terrible at executing his plan. I mean, really bad. He's holding the gun. He's a terrible knowledge of firearms. All he knew is from Boys in the Hood. That's all he's got. And so fortunately, he didn't train.
That's a great point, because he had great mindset, but no training.
Yes.
The other officer in that moment had poor mindset, but great training.
Yeah.
He reloaded on the run. He dropped mag and reloaded.
A lot of people are saying these guys need more training. I'm like, actually, you know what?
That spawned so fast that, and a sim round scenario will fix any of those knuckleheads. Get in a sim round scenario and starts popping off sim round.
Yeah. This guy immediately recognized the threat, moved to cover, began to move to a position of cover while drawing his firearm, immediately addressed. He shot the guy. He returned fire and he got hit, and he returned fire and hit the guy. So there's an exchange happening, and keep in mind that there's people running in his path of fire immediately. There's a lot happening. He knows that there's a child in the vehicle. He gets hit. What does he do? If he's going to reload, you're trained to reload from a position of cover when at all possible. And so he moves to the back of the vehicle. And I think this was a smart tactic. he didn't reemerge once he reloaded. Where he was, he reemerged on the other side of the vehicle. Now, the turd had moved behind him, and so it was a weird circumstance how that happened. But I think the first officer that gets shot, he actually, and I believe that was Brian Potters that is shot, I think. If I'm wrong, I apologize. I get the names mixed up. But he actually decides to move to the other side of the vehicle. Yeah. So I think that's actually a good tactic. And then the second officer who realizes that hop along turdity comes along from around the backside of the patrol vehicle. He sees it happening, pops off around, and it looks like, again, I'm watching the same thing you guys are. It looks like he inadvertently dumps his mag out of the gun, like the convulsive grip. He slides down, the mag drops. He recognizes it, but instead of panicking, does exactly what you're supposed to do. He moves real quick to cover, reloads his mag, reemerges again on the other side to address the threat, and then epic guns up, giddy up, mag dump for America.
I bet his dick was so fucking hard when he was putting those in him. Like he was like, yeah, bitch,
I'm not so sure. I'm not so
fight.
sure it turned sexual at that point, but it certainly was an America moment.
It was, yeah. I mean, so you know, every cop we go through these sim round trainings. We go through lots of trainings. Being in the military, went through lots of training, and a lot of times in training you lose because the instructors kind of set it up for you to be very, very difficult. And so, you know, I always picture in my brain when we have these shooting incidents at work or we're doing things, is having that moment of, okay, the last guy's down and I've won. My best friend and the godparent of my children and the godparent of his children, he was in a shooting and he won, and it was such a celebration of life. And him and we celebrate his alive day, but we really celebrated as congratulations, you fucking won the fight of your life. And that's what he told me after the fight. He was like, look, dude, like people are telling me I should feel one way, I should feel the other. And all I feel is like, fuck yeah, dude, I fucking won. Like you brought your gun, you brought your heat, and I pulled mine first. Or he didn't even pull his firearm first. The suspect had his gun out before he did, but he still won the fight, you know, and he had this overwhelming sense of victory and winning. And these officers, they fucking won, and they should celebrate that they won, that this was the fight of their life, and they came out on top. And it was definitely because of their training. Their training kicked in. I'm extremely proud of these guys and would definitely serve with either the two of them. And then
he stayed in the fight, dude. He not only was he shot in the leg, he got freaking pistol whipped in the noggin. Yeah. And still stayed in the fight. Like fight, win, go home. This is the mantra, right?
And I love it because his mindset going in there was like, I'm trying to be a good, cool officer. Like, I'm not judging you because you've got dreads and a shitty criminal record. You got your 2-month-old in the car, man. Like,
hey, listen, man, I've been there. I've had 23 felonies. I've tried to kill people before, and I'm out walking around just like you.
He's desperately trying. We saw this in the Rashard Brooks breakdown. He's desperately trying not to be a viral video and trying to be nice and kind and courteous and doing all the things that we're trying to get these cops to be. And he kind of just had his guard down just a little too much. But listen, he gets right back into the fight. He gets his gun out. He gets shot. I like it when he gets shot, he's like, I'm hit. Ow. I'm sure it hurt like hell. Oftentimes when you get shot in the leg, bones do break. But he did hit suspect in the leg. And the suspect, he had the mindset of, I'm in this to win it, baby. He's like, I'm going to run. No, fuck that. I'm not going to make it because I've been shot in the leg. So I'm going to get back to work on these guys. But the officer that got shot was like, I'm hit. Now at that point, he could have moved to the back of the car and sat it out, but he didn't. He went to the other side of the car.
Just depend on his partner.
On the pillar. Yeah, he could have, but he went to that. At that point, it's like the C pillar because that was like an SUV. He goes to a pillar, right, of cover. And by the way, you've been shot. Your emotions are just through the roof at this point. Your brain, your tunnel vision is so pinpointed. I bet you that guy couldn't see 3 inches out of his peripherals. I mean, what do you think was happening when he started firing rounds down range? As soon as did you think he just like in his mind, like he just went right where the target was last and just started popping rounds toward like where the threat was? I mean, you think in your brain, you're going, one, he's trying to process that he's been hit. Two, he's trying to process a reload. And a reload is not easy.
Oh my gosh.
Adrenaline goes up, your fine motor skills go down, and I don't care how much you practice it. And the way to prove that is have a shooting competition with your buddy, and get you two of the guys together and put 3 rounds in 3 different magazines and just try to race.
How about you sprint a quarter mile and do 50 push-ups and then start doing mag changes?
But idiots. Even then, it's just like
people who are like, "Oh, I would have done this. I would have been sleeping on my Ghostbed and drinking Cardomax and mag changing with one hand and fighting these 3 turds." You freaking dummy.
No, you wouldn't. And I don't care how many mag changes you do on your couch and how many times you've cleared your house. That doesn't put you.
You don't train under stress. You're not training. So shut up.
And training under stress takes a lot of money and a lot of time. And so there's just not there's not a massive amount, but I would take any hardened veteran and put them in the same scenario. And I'm not sure that it plays out. There's
no way to simulate that real death. Even when you're going into sim round things, which is, circumstances and scenarios where it's about as real as it truly can possibly get without the real risk of death. The problem is, there's somewhere in your brain, this isn't real, but when it's actually real, it's a different ball game. It's a different circumstance. Now, once you've been in those real situations, it actually starts to enhance your training, because now you can kind of carry with you that feeling and those emotions and that reaction and carry it with you into your training. And you kind of relive it a little bit, those tense moments, and it actually enhances your ability to get better at your training.
Right. Because you can kind of think through it and you can kind of war game it. It's like a quarterback on his first game coming out of college into the big leagues, into the NFL. That quarterback is going to have probably not that great of a game. Maybe he has a good game, but he's going to get so much better over time because he's going to war game those things. He's going to understand what these blitz formations look like and how these things come in. Unfortunately, in scenarios like this, where the officers, you may only get one chance. This officer's career may be over. We don't know where I don't know where that bullet struck him. If it shattered his knee, I think
the sheriff said he's supposed to make a recovery. He's going to be fine, which
recovery.
Is great.
And then we're going to get into what the sheriff has to say. But first I want to talk about one of our newest endorsers, or one of our newest sponsors to the show, Simply Safe. And this is big for us because Simply Safe is a really big sponsor.
I'm actually really excited about this. And they sent me the box of Simply Safe stuff for my house, right? And I'm like, oh man, this is amazing. So my son comes in and he's like, where did you get the Simply Safe stuff? And I'm like, well, from Simply Safe. And I'm like, yeah, they're going to sponsor the show. And he's like, dude, this is great. Yeah. And then like other people are like, Simply Safe? I've got friends that got Simply Safe for this. They love it. Like, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, great. I can't wait to get this installed at my house. I'm like, sweet. I'm pretty excited now. Simply Safe.
I got mine, and they sent it to us beginning of last month, so that we could test them out and try them before we talked about it on the show. And I'll be honest, fully transparent, I did not set that fucking thing up because I hate setting shit up. I hate drilling into my walls. You have to go get the drills. You have to go get all the little, the level out and all these things, and all that stuff is either at my distillery or at my studio. And just for whatever reason, I didn't want to do it. And finally I was like, all right, look, that show's in a couple of weeks. I've got to get the Simply Safe stuff up. I opened the box. Dude, how fucking dumb am I? They actually put like adhesive on, they have adhesive strips so that you can literally tape the stuff to your walls. Right, you don't have to even drill.
You don't have to do it. It's super simple.
I could have just
opened it. Simply Safe. See, that's built into the name.
Safe. But this is big news. And there's even bigger news coming from Home
Karen
Security.
says she loves her Simply Safe. So there you go.
Good. There you go, Karen. Simply Safe just launched their new wireless outdoor security camera. That's right. Simply Safe, the system that U.S. News and World Report names best home security system of 2021, just got even better. This brand new outdoor security is engineered with all the advanced tech and security features you want and need to help keep you and your family safe. It has an ultra wide 140-degree field of view so you can keep watch over your entire yard. 1080p HD resolution, 8x zoom. That means that you can zoom in and clearly see.
I'm going to catch that porch pirate. You little turd.
It's not like the security system that you see at the Handy Hugo.
You think you're going to take my teddy bear with a bra and a lay and butt plugs from my porch? Not today.
It's funny because of the quality on this. Like if you look at the security cameras that they had at the Pentagon on 9/11 and you could barely see the plane coming in,
Yes.
like, are you fucking kidding me? Like I've got better technology, security camera technology in my home from Simply Safe than they had at the Pentagon.
Yeah.
But it is built-in spotlight with color night vision, so you can keep an eye on what's going on day and night. Super simple to set up and usually just takes minutes. And I'm, dude, not even joking. This is like minutes. It's like setting up like your Alexa. It's basically like you have like a little Alexa station. I mean, it's Big Bird, a Cookie Monster. The camera has all integrates with Simply Safe home security systems, extending its protection to the outside. So now you have Simply Safe inside, and you can have it outside. Every door, window, room protected. As a police officer, that's what you want. The budget for Simply Safe is right there in the first responder budget. I promise you. And it gives you that peace of mind that your wife and your kids, or your husband and your kids, is everybody's at home and they're safe while you're on night shift. So
your husband and your husband,
your wife and your wife. To learn more about the exciting new Simply Safe wireless outdoor security camera, visit simplysafe.com/wolfpack. And that is all lowercase this time. There it is. See, it's fun.
No, it's not.
What's more, Simply Safe is celebrating this new camera by offering 20% off your entire new system and your first month of monitoring service free when you enroll in an interactive monitoring. Again, that's simplysafe.com/wolfpack. Hey guys, guess what? Also with Simply Safe is you don't have to subscribe to anything. These are things that you can watch off of your own phone. So there is no like monthly fees and prices if you don't want it on Simply Safe. So that is super dope.
Somebody ban Fruit Dragon. He's telling us that 9/11 is not real. You freaking turd. Idiot. Freaking idiots, man. Idiots. Stop it. Stop it. Just stop it already.
Simplysafe.com/wolfpack. And again, I love it. It's great. And it's cool because I can spy on my own house from my phone. It's kind of addicting. Boston Joe, you're at my house way too much.
What's up with that?
What's going on, buddy?
Yeah. Anyway, no one's going to steal my butt plug shipment anymore from the porch. No more. All right.
Man.
So Sheriff Wayne Ivey is a freaking monster. He's the kind of leader we need, dude. What is it with sheriffs in Florida? What is it with Florida in general?
I'll tell you,
they're on a common sense tear. Top down, man. Just a common sense, freedom loving terror. And I love it. I love it, man. I wish I could move to freaking Florida, but it's a lie. It's not a sunshine state. It's got worse weather than Michigan.
It is. Being from Florida, right? I was born and raised in St. Augustine, Florida, in a little town called Switzerland. And you have got to be tough as shit to be from Florida. Florida is like Australia, right? So you have moccasins, coral snakes, you've got mosquitoes, alligator snapping turtles, barracudas, sharks,
hurricanes,
Casey Anthony, hurricanes, tornadoes,
drug cartels.
You get it
Cubans.
all in Florida. You've got to be on the top of your fucking game to live in Florida. You got to deal with all the Yankees who are driving down the highways in Florida, all the tourists that have no idea what they're doing, where they're going. Everything about Florida wants to kill you. It's like Jurassic Park. So yeah, I mean, there's no wonder that the sheriffs in
it's a dangerous swamp down there, my friends.
Shout out to all of our Florida officers out there.
Heck yeah, guys. Guns up, giddy up to all Florida law enforcement. We love you guys. And Sheriff Wayne Ivey had pretty much the coolest line ever about our turd in question today. Do we have that somewhere, Andy?
There'd be no doubt. This individual got exactly what he deserved.
Amen.
And to
brother.
those out there who might be foolish enough to ask why we shot him so many times, that answer is simple. Because evil can never be dead enough.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh, please run. Can
love the smug look on his face. Like,
take that guy, put him everywhere. I want that guy leading all law enforcement agencies.
I love it. I think I like the smugness on his face when he's saying it. He's like, I'm about to piss off all the media people in here. My social media is about to blow up. The Brevard County Sheriff's Department social media is about to just get freaking raided with scumbags. And I don't give a fuck.
I don't mind getting put on the map for killing turds.
Yeah, I love it, man. And his brother down the street, the other sheriff down there, who's saying, why didn't we shoot him? Why did we shoot him 126 times? He's like,
bolstered. We need a shirt. We need a shirt. Evil can't be dead enough.
Oh yeah. Evil can't. Yeah, we definitely need
Evil
that.
can't be dead enough. I will wear the heck out of that shirt. I love it. Evil can't be dead enough. Get yourself a stab and grab, and then an evil can't be dead enough shirt. Thefailuretostop.com.
And for all you breachers out there, hit up that breach life. It's all about that breach life. I'm all about that. Fuck
Yeah,
the
man.
Beach. Fuck the beach. Give me the breach.
So, Sheriff Ivey, kudos to you, sir. If I was going to go back into full-time law enforcement, then I would move to Florida or whatever department you were in charge of, and I would work for you, sir. You have my respect. You could be terrible at HR stuff. I don't know. I mean, maybe people have complaints about you. Everybody complains about their leaders. But at the end of the day, this you got my support from this for sure. Holy cow.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Oh gosh. Man,
Yeah,
and how proud of you, you know, because these sheriffs and higher ranking officials, it's good to see a sheriff like this being proud of his men, right? Like,
Yeah.
If you're
this deputy sitting in the hospital with your freaking leg,
yeah,
and you hear your sheriff like, yeah, man,
in your brain,
you
you're
did it.
going, in your brain, you're like, man, that mag dump was awesome, but how fucked am I for that mag dump? Like, what am I going to have to answer? Then you're sitting in the hospital and those things are running through your brain. And then all of a sudden,
did I
he
shoot
comes
him
up
too
there
many
and he's
times?
like, he couldn't be dead enough. You're like, oh shit, I got my stateside. I did it with a full fucking mag dump. Fuck yeah, dude. I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. Let me get back to work, and I'm ready for the next one if it so happens. Which is a great approach. It's the opposite approach of our good old friend Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Oh, Lori. Back in it again. Look, this woman can't stay out of the news.
Beetlejuice loves to be in the news.
She can't stop.
She's the mayor with the most, babe.
Now, I want to talk about it. Do I think this is a terrible idea? In theory, no, I don't. Suing gang members and going after the top-ranking gang members, I think, is a great idea. In theory, right? There's a lot of ideas that are in theory, but if you look at them and break it down, and I'm not making fun of Mary Lori Lightfoot for just being ignorant, because we can all be ignorant in things that we don't have enough information about. So I'm not going to shit on her too much for saying that we should sue gang members, but I'm going to tell you why that's not going to work, and then I'm going to tell you what her motive was in saying this, which it wasn't just some mayor that's really cares about her city saying, you know what, I have a good idea. Maybe it's a good idea. Maybe it's a bad idea. Let me hear it. No, she had ulterior motives, but you can't just sue gang members. You could sue anybody that you want. But now what we're talking about is all of these gang incidents. One, we've changed in Chicago, and the policy in Chicago is that you're not allowed to put their gang affiliation in the report, right? Because that's it's criminalizing them.
Inflammatory.
And it's inflammatory, and so you can't even put what their gang affiliation is. So now we're saying, okay,
you can't establish facts about someone.
Yeah,
that'd be too mean,
right? And they know,
and that's how these freaking turds end up in the back of a car with a 2-month-old shooting cops, because you're freaking spineless, gutless. Well, like I called them earlier, labia faces. So in the prison, they're allowed to still verify gang members for prison purposes, but the street level cops aren't allowed to have verified gang members. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. And there's absolutely no reason for that except to piss off politicians playing with each other. Like, well, guess what? We're going to take away the ability for cops to verify gang members. Take that, there's no tactical reason or community policing reason that you would want to do that. But in this instance, how do we articulate a gang related crime if we're not allowed to say that they're a verified gang member? Two, the amount of litigation that would go into this, you're talking every shooting, which there are lots of shootings in Chicago. We're now going to have to get that. We're going to have to articulate that was gang affiliated without affiliating anybody with a gang. This just gives the DAs, the defense, so much ammo to fight any one of these cases. And the time, because we're canceling court because of COVID, they're letting felons go because of COVID. There is no way that anybody was ever going to successfully be sued for being top leadership and blood gang members. And that is why this idea will flop. And she knew that would flop. She's not stupid. Posturing.
She is just coming out and saying, look, we did something. We tried something. We tried it. Look what I'm doing. Because ignorance is bliss, and the common person's like, you know what, that is a good idea. Yeah, fuck those blood gang members, sue all of them. Well, that's great. How are you going to do that? And what is the time frame coming on that? Who's going to pay for it? So at the end of the day,
it goes back to just keep posturing, just say the right things, address symptoms, never address the real problem. Don't go after the heart of the actual issue of personal responsibility or holding people accountable, hold turds accountable for the smell that's emanating from them. How about we do that, Your Honor or Highness or whoever you are in any type of position to do this, hold them accountable. How about we maybe draw a line that goes, I don't know, somewhere around a dozen violent felonies with weapons, we might want to keep you out of the general public for a while.
Sure.
Like maybe that would be a good idea, but God forbid we do that because it's not very nice. And God forbid that we offend the Karens in the name of tolerance, but it's okay to offend, I don't know, cops and other people who want peace and law and order in their society so that they can enjoy their freedoms. You know and what? I'm getting worked up, Tansey.
The solution to this is very simple, and it's one of my favorite solutions. And this solution, I'll tell you about it. It gets me hard. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot makes me soft. But there's something for that as well.
Get Roman.
GetRoman.com. Look, guys, squeaky doors, clogged sinks, finicky engines. When things break around the house, you take care of it. However, when something's off in the bedroom, you just try not to think about it, right? Come on, man.
That's where the teddy bear. That's where the teddy bears come in, my friend.
That's where the teddy bear comes from. But what are you waiting for, man? You got to take care of it. Look, like the stresses of being a cop, it's nothing to be ashamed of, man. You think those guys that just had the fight of their life, you think that that's not going to
they just burned through 17 years of adrenaline.
Yeah, I mean, dude, making a comeback for that, and they should.
It's not a limitless supply. Hey, you guys should know this. You don't have like a lifelong supply of all of your hormones and like adrenaline. It's got a tank, and
it's got a shelf life.
Cops with that mindset of be polite, be professional, have a plan to kill everyone. When you live that for years and circumstance over circumstance, time after time, you burn through that supply. You got to learn how to control it, but you burn through that supply, and there's an impact on your life physically, emotionally, mentally. And this is one of the physical aspects of it that we're just keeping it real. It's a true issue in our field.
We can say it. I'm not even ashamed to say it. It's erectile dysfunction. And a lot of time that might be because you can't get some things that you've seen out of your head, or maybe it's just Lori Lightfoot pisses you off because you watch the news too much. Whatever it is that keeps you down, GetRoman.com/Wolfpack will get you right back up. With Roman, you can get a free online evaluation and an ongoing care for erectile dysfunction. These aren't boner pills from the gas station, guys. These are real doctors, and you're going to get real prescriptions here, all from the comfort and privacy of your own home. So you don't have to go to a
this
doctor.
Isn't some like deer foot ground up in boiled in some other magical Chinese root or something like that to help you. This is like legit prescriptions, legit medical treatment.
Yeah, this is legit medical treatment. This is prescriptions of all the big name brand the thing. We're not going to say those name brands on here, but these doctors are going to prescribe you those name brand drugs, whatever it needs to be to get you the care that you need to get you back in the game. You're going to talk to a U.S. licensed healthcare professional. They're going to work with you to find the best treatment plan.
You don't call them and get, hello, how may I help you? I have many testosterones to send you today.
Yeah, no, you're going to talk to a real healthcare professional. They're going to work through you to find their best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, if that's what you need is medication, then it ships to you for free with 2-day shipping. They're going to get out to you really quick, and not, it doesn't need medication all the time. They might give you other advice or other plans to get you medically right. The whole process is straightforward and discreet. Getting started is simple. Just go to GetRoman.com/Wolfpack, all capital letters, and complete an online visit. Take care of your erectile dysfunction without leaving your home. Complete an online visit today to connect with your healthcare professional and take care of it. Look, guys, if it's a problem, take care of it. It's going to help your family life. It's going to help your work life. Everything's going to be happier. You don't need the stress of not being able to get up. And then when you hear the jokes in the locker room and people are saying things, like that's not going to be you because you're hard all the time, baby. Go to GetRoman.com/Wolfpack, all capital letters. Again, you're going to get $15 off your first month with our promo code. You will get $15 off your first month. It's really time to take care of your erectile dysfunction. Get started today, and you'll save $15 on your first order of erectile your ED treatment. Look, GetRoman.com/Wolfpack. Do it now. Get in the fight. Stay in the fight, baby.
If anyone's seen Amber's shirt, let us know where it's at so we can get it to her.
Listen, I just got the shirts. She missed the first part of the show again, but all the shirts came in. I got a big box of them, so I'll be able to mail it out probably Monday.
Supposedly, allegedly.
They just came in. I'm wearing one right now.
Yeah, I'm wearing one too. The stab and grab. I love it.
Yeah,
so Andy is the one that puts up the comments. So somebody's like, who is Jimmy back there putting up the comments? Andy is running the show today, production wise, and putting up the comments for you. So what other thoughts do you have or not have about this situation or things like it that we can educate people on or?
Well, I want to go back to the Lori Lightfoot news, give my solution there, because I don't like to just bitch without having a solution or without having my own idea. And again, I said her idea wasn't bad in theory. I just think that her motives were she knew that it was bad in theory. I don't necessarily think that my idea is bad because it's been tried and it's been tested and it's worked. And the only reason that this method of policing has been gotten rid of is because of perception. And of course, I always preach perception is not reality, even though we treat it as reality. But as a cop, you cannot treat perception as reality. And I think if you're going to judge cops as well on the citizen sides, then you can't judge them based off perception. Because if you're in those shoes, that's how Salem witch trials happen, or things like perception and not facts and not evidence. So cops on dots is a method that a lot of agencies have used in the past. And that's basically is you take a map and you break it down into sections, and wherever you have the most dots are for crime related, like let's say that you have car break-ins and you just have a massive rash of car break-ins. And then you also have a big problem in violent crimes and another neighborhood in an area. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the majority of your police officers and you're going to divide them to where those dots of crimes happens in the time frames that they happen. So if you've got 30 car break-ins that happen between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., then at 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., you're going to take all your cops that have no dots in their area at 2 and 5 a.m., and you're going to leave one or two behind, and you're going to take the majority over to the one that has a fuck ton of dots, and you're going to patrol the shit out of that between that time frame to get those crime numbers down. And you're going to do the same thing in everyone. But powers that be, big government, your mayors, your governors, they say, well, that doesn't look bad because now
we're targeting communities.
Now we're targeting communities. No, we're
targeting criminals.
We're targeting crime. These dots don't have a color of
when you're going to pick up dog crap in your yard, you take the shovel to the crap.
Right.
That's how you scoop it up and get it out of your yard.
Racist about this has nothing to do with those dots. Don't represent a color of human being. They don't represent how much a human being makes monetarily and a living. These dots simply represent a crime that was committed and the location and time in which it was committed.
Crime is colorless.
Cops on dots, if you want to make a community safer, it's a no-brainer. It has worked in tons of agencies. The only reason that these agencies are getting rid of cops and dots is because of perception. And I just don't agree with that. And so we already know the answer. And that's why I've said from the beginning is these politicians don't want that problem to be solved because then they don't have a job anymore. As long as these problems exist.
I want to take ice cream on dots. I want to take them all ice cream to all the dots.
Dude, Dippin Dots. What's your take on Dippin Dots? I'm a huge Dippin Dots guy.
Overrated.
I love
them.
No.
They're good.
I love
They're
them.
good.
If I'm going to a sporting event.
Overrated though.
If I'm going to a sporting event,
they're overpriced at the sporting events or like freaking amusement parks and all that stuff. Yeah, no, I boycott that stuff. I hate it. I don't want to spend the extra money because I think they're fleecing me and I don't appreciate it. They're treating me like an idiot and I don't appreciate it. I won't buy your overpriced ice cream dots because you're charging me 5 times as much as you need to, and that's fine. It's your business. I'm not telling you how to run it. I'm just not going to support it, and they're overrated.
I'm a big Dippin' Dots guy. I had some at the Mudcats baseball game here in North Carolina. It was my youngest son's birthday. He wanted to go to a baseball game.
Hey, sports.
And I got everybody Dippin' Dots, and it was my children's first time having Dippin' Dots. They love them.
They're great. It's a classic kid thing. You got to have Dippin' Dots. I agree. I'm not anti Dippin' Dots.
My wife is anti Dippin' Dots. She's like, oh, it's the dumbest thing ever. It's not even real space. Like, how is it the future of ice cream when it's been the future of ice cream since like 1983?
We haven't got there yet. It's still the fastest thing, the furthest technology we have.
So I like Dippin' Dots. I don't know if they really have them in space or not. But if I could have Dippin Dots in space, I think that
Our
would be
Space Force will
list
have the
item.
best Dippin' Dots.
Watched another great movie this week. If anybody hasn't seen it, it was a weird movie. I don't know how I landed on it, but Warsaw 44 is a great movie. It's all in
Sounds Polish
subtitles. It is, and it's in subtitles. But man, what a fantastic breakdown of what happened in 1944 in Warsaw. I did not know it was that involved, but it's really cool seeing communities come together. These weren't warriors, these weren't fighters, but they said enough's enough. We're not going to take the Nazis bullshit anymore, and they came together. And I think it's one cool. I fact check the story, but at one point there's a famous picture of a couple of males, a couple of females, of all different ages, and they're holding this concrete block in front of a bunch of rubble. And I was looking at it, and the story goes that these guys were like, we have no idea what this rubble is, and one dude was like hiding behind it and laying waste to some Nazis, and like some ladies running by, and he's like, come on over here, come on. So she starts shooting, and he's like, we're gonna hold this, and she's like, okay. And then another guy's like coming out of the rubble, and they're like, come on over here, we're gonna hold this. And everybody just decided to hold this one piece of concrete because it was the only thing standing. There was no military significance, there's nothing about it. They were just like, we're gonna fucking hold this because we're Polish and we hate the Nazis, and we're making our 53 days.
We're going to mag dump some Nazis.
They did, man. And even the Nazis were like, dude, what's so important about this block of concrete that these Polish people are rallying around? And it wasn't. It was just simply one guy was like, you know what, this is important to us. It's the only thing standing, and we're going to fucking save it. It was a really cool movie and really well made, well done.
People should
finish.
People should legit pay attention to how Poland has dealt with massive refugee criminal element immigration stuff over the last few years, and how Poland responds to all of the tyrannical bullcrap that our government tries to pull, because they've been there. They recognize the signs, and they're like, nope, we ain't doing that again. We're not doing that again. And they're onto something, the Poles.
And the Polish resistance flag is really fucking cool. I hope that makes a comeback. I was taking a look at it. I was like, no, that's a resistance flag. I like it.
Man, I'm all excited. Now I'm excited. I'm going to watch that movie this weekend.
Watch the movie. And look, I'm not really into movies with subtitles. I like Apocalyptico. That was pretty cool. But this movie is so good that like, you don't even need the subtitles. You can kind of see what's going on and you know, cinema wise, and the camera angles and all those things that are artsy fartsy are so good. And it really keeps everything relevant, but it tells a really great story. And it seemed very accurate to me. You know, you didn't have any like crazy heroes going full Rambo or anything like that. So Tansey voted for Hillary Clinton. Tansey's very much a liberal. You motherfuckers. But we love you guys. We love the Wolfpack, man. For all of you guys who keep commenting on our stuff, that send us these private messages, that are reaching out to us,
sharing our social media, engaging in the comments, sharing the stuff, ratings, reviews, getting merch, spreading the word about the show. I honestly, all we can do is say thank you. And we're just going to keep showing up week in and week out and do our thing. If you have show concepts, topics, situations, not current or past, and you're like, man, let's talk about this. We want to give you guys, you know, the opportunity to share that. So always send us a message and say, I'd love to hear about, you know, X, Y, or Z, and we'll definitely consider it and try to kind of get it into the rotation of things. So just some dude says, dude, I used to show to help teach my class. I don't know what class that is. Could be liberal dance studies, lesbian dance studies. And
somebody in the comments says Tansey poops standing up, and I meant to write I'll poop on your girl's chest, and what I accidentally wrote was I poop on girls.
Oh my God. Stop it. Get that off my screen. It's disgusting.
God.
Man.
Hey, listen, all those pictures that you guys keep sending of the merch, I love them. And I'm going to start doing like a collage maybe every Sunday of all the merch that's being worn, because I think it's great. And I'm bad about responding just because, again, I run a business. I run two side businesses. I have two podcasts.
Same. Yeah.
You've got all the same things going on, Mike. You've got the Mike the Cop YouTube thing. I got Drinking Bro Sports, Tailgate Legends. And look, my day, I have 3 kids plus one on a new niece that was just born. And so my life is just full right now. And I have very little time to myself. So I apologize, but every time I do see those pictures of you guys in the swag, it makes me smile. I love it. It's cool to see all our designs that we kind of collaborated together to make. So thank you. Thank
Love
you. And
Catch
just 'cause I
your
don't-
show tonight. Are you on tonight or no? Is it you don't do the Friday things right now
No,
during tailgate season? It'll be Saturday.
Yeah, so we're tailgating tomorrow at UNC. No, I'm sorry. Tomorrow we're at NC State University, tailgating there. That show will kick off at 1. If you want to find us in the tailgate lot, just go and follow Drinking Bros Sports. And then next week we will be in Nashville. So I'll probably be doing our show on Friday and then driving straight to Nashville, and I'm doing the game on Saturday, which is Vanderbilt, Georgia. Then Sunday we're doing the Titans thing, and then we've got a thing with Drinking Bros with Kid Rock and John Daly and the Black Rifle Crew on Monday. So follow Drinking Bros, follow Drinking Bros Sports.
So much happening. So much going on.
And then you and I have Cop Week coming up.
Yeah, Police Week. We'll be there. We still got to work out details. I got to get airfare, set this all up. We got to figure it out. But yeah, we will be at Police Week in some way, shape, or form, some location. We will announce all the details as soon as we have them to you. I would say I probably said last Friday. By this Friday, I lied. It'll be by next Friday, whatever. Little procrastination going on with scheduling, but we will get there. But guys, thanks so much. Failure to Stop podcast. Thanks for listening. And yeah, guns up, giddy up, share up the show. And until next time, next Friday, we'll see you here. Boo. Cheers.